Marine Corporal Rick Fredrickson on the Vietnam War.
General Wheeler started his 4-day visit to Vietnam with a briefing at U.S. Command in Saigon.
Army Specialist Preston Clough with the latest news from the world of sports.
The Mets head for Montreal, another game closer to Chicago.
With special reports tonight from Army Specialist Michael Maxwell in Saigon, Roger Peterson at the Korean DMZ, Herb Chapman in Siberia, and Jules Bergman at Cape Kennedy.
Man is finally on his way to conquering an age-old dream. The Apollo 11 astronauts are on their way to the moon. 2 of them will land on the barren lunar surface next Monday night, Saigon time, and they'll walk on the moon shortly after. Neil Armstrong, Edwin Aldrin, and Michael Collins left Earth precisely on schedule last night atop the lofty Saturn V booster rocket. 3 hours later, the spacecraft blasted out of Earth orbit and headed toward the moon. Then the Apollo 11 separated from its rocket stage and gently docked with the lunar landing module at 7:30 this morning. Apollo 11 was on course 55,000 miles from Earth. One of the few minor problems crept up during the docking when Mission Ground Control temporarily lost communications with the spacecraft. The problem, which officials described as more annoying than worrying, was solved when Collins reported his antenna was incorrectly positioned for a few minutes. Ground controllers also plan to look into the failure of an unscheduled telecast to be received adequately on Earth. That television transmission in color was successful on the second try. It was found the earlier attempt was unsuccessful because of antenna trouble on the ground. The moon voyagers on the President Nixon was one of those. A viewing reminder that as well as the President, you'll be able to see the blast-off right here on Channel 11 immediately following this newscast this evening and every evening at 8 o'clock. Army Sergeant First Class Bob MacArthur will give you at that time a situation.
Ignition sequence start.
Come on, gang.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour.
Rocket now, moving up. The flame spreading out over the launch area. The rocket now clearing the launch tower. You can hear the roar, and we can feel the vibration. 3 miles away is this huge 3,000-ton package lift skyward now. 25 seconds. And still climbing. A beautiful lift so far.
About 10.
Passing through clouds. Still climbing. Now back in the clear sky. 25 seconds. Program has been completed. Still climbing. 55 seconds now. Lift. Almost good. We can still feel it very comfortable. 7.5 million pounds of thrust. Shake the area miles around. Booster now moving into a slight crowd number, but we can still see that orange and white flame. Still climbing, all looking good. A minute 25 seconds now. The big booster spacecraft just passed through the point of maximum dynamic pressure, that is, the point at which the booster and the restraining force of the atmosphere are at their greatest. Still climbing. The plane is still quite visible. 8 miles downrange, 12 miles high. Velocity 4,000 feet per second. Stand by for mode 1 Charlie.
Okay, Bob, he's on you.
Mark, mode 1 Charlie. 1 Charlie. You're listening to the men in the spacecraft and Houston mission control. Houston, you are go for staging.
Oh, yeah, right away.
Go for staging.
Yeah, they were talking about what great communications they had last night, tonight, yeah.
2 minutes. 15
hearing over the radio was very clear. Yeah, we could hear.
Great communications. We gave him his telephone to get next door. That's something I can't.
Hey, he's zooming in on you.
You're listening to the voices of the astronauts directed live from the spacecraft Apollo 11. They're coming up on 30 miles high, and standing by for the operation touchdown
What they
now.
really ought to do is
This is the voice of
not
Jack
give us
Riley,
any news over here, and then, show it like this, like it was last.
Downrange 140 miles, altitude 62 miles, velocity 10,300 feet per second.
airborne exactly 4
11
minutes.
Houston, you are go at 4 minutes. Catch.
You're listening to the voices of the spacecraft. Through the Mission Control Center, Houston. We're still some 6 minutes and 30 seconds away from cutoff of the third
190 miles
when it ignites.
downrange now. 72 miles high, velocity 11,000 feet per second. Every user says it's looking good at 5 minutes.
Come on, guys, I know you can make it.
Neil Armstrong sound great.
Struck me last night when I first heard the moonshot go off that it was kind of unusual to sit here waiting for rockets to come in while this rocket is going up. Did it never occur to you at all?
Not exactly that way, no. But it is kind of odd.
Where would you rather be, here or there?
You mean on the rocket?
Yeah.
I think I'd rather be right here.
Really? Yeah. You ever get the urge to go travel in space at all, a young man and a young officer?
Yeah, if they ever get commercial flights and I've got the money, I'll go.
What does the rocket shot make you think of?
Well, it makes me think of quite a few things, really. Mostly about back home, seeing back home on the TV. Miss it more. Wish I was there.
Have you followed these space shots pretty carefully?
Well, yes, more or less I have. I've always been interested in it. I think it's something that has to be done. It's interesting. It's a challenge.
What do you think of the Reverend Ralph Abernathy's statement that we spent so much money on the moon, yet we still have to clean up poverty in the States, and here we are fighting a war over here, and man can't even seem to live in peace with himself. What does this make you think of with landing on the moon?
Well, I don't know. As far as he saying what he did and demonstrating down there, I think that's pretty low myself. I don't think a moonshot is any place to be demonstrating for anything, and I think our problems back home, the people that are in trouble could, if they wanted to, get out of it themselves.
Do you think it's right then to go ahead and spend money on a space program like this?
Oh yeah, I think definitely it is, because like I said, it's a challenge. It's something that has to be done. It'll open up a new horizon for everybody.
What was the first thing that went through your mind when the rocket went up?
Believe it or not, it was home. I'm from Jacksonville, Florida, and had I been home instead of over here in Vietnam, I probably would have traveled down to the Cape to see the shot off.
You've been following these moonshots, these space shots pretty regularly, have you?
Yes, I have. I went to college about 40 miles from the Cape, and I got to see quite a few of the shots in person during the period 62 to 66. And then, of course, being right there in Jacksonville, I could hop right down for most of the other space shots.
Well, here we are in Vietnam waiting for rockets to come in Tay Ninh City, and this rocket is going off to the moon. Does that do anything to you when you think about that?
Well, yes, it seems rather incongruous to me, or ironic, however you wish to phrase it, that here America is shooting a rocket into space for the betterment of all mankind, and at the same time I have Charlie out there, maybe 2-3 clicks from the base camp here, shooting rockets in to blast me to kingdom come.